Hello. Tonight, with the hush of the world pressed gently against your windows, you are with the modern mystic, and this is your slow welcome to rest. No need to do anything but listen, or even not listen, really. You can let your focus drift with the softness of fog over a still pond. You are here. That's all. That's all for now. You're joining me for a story where nothing much happens, because that is sometimes just what the tired soul needs. The story tonight is that of Thich Nhat Hanh arranging tea leaves. Maybe you've heard his name, or maybe not. It doesn't matter. Let it be a hazy memory, like the taste of cool water in the early hours. Let it be new or old. The story is not really about tea leaves, not really about history either. It's about slowness, awareness, and the breathing rhythm of hands meeting the ordinary, again and again, until the ordinary feels sacred. Where you are right now. That's enough. The bed, the not quite darkness, the unseen hands tucking you into the moment. Let's begin by not beginning. Let's just arrive and sit and listen together like friends on the edge of sleep, saying far less than we feel. He waited by the window, the kettle whistled. The world waited too. Nothing happened, and that was enough. You're listening to the modern mystic. If you're here tonight, it's perfectly okay. You've come to a place of simple comfort, the soft weight of a blanket, the gentle hush of curiosity, and maybe a hope to slip into an even deeper calm. Let your breath linger a little longer. Without hurry, we'll be together here. For as long as it feels right, there's nothing you need to do. No one is expecting anything from you tonight. Listen if you wish, or let the words blur and dissolve as you drift. Tonight, I invite you to walk through the slow mornings, the tender hours, the tea-stained afternoons of Thich Nhat Hanh's quiet life. We'll move slower than your thoughts, like a friend strolling next to you under early gray light. There is no reason to rush. Every sound, every detail is enough. Whatever you're feeling right now, it belongs here. Maybe you hear a street in the distance. Maybe there's just the hush of your own breathing. You are not alone in this gentle fog. We are together, soft as the light under a closed door. Welcome. It always began with the gray hush of morning. Shadows stretched long across the humble room, the woven mat cool under his feet. Thich Nhat Hanh woke slowly, not pulled from sleep, but quietly rising, like steam from a cup of tea on a winter morning. He listened before moving. He listened to the silence, to the faintest breeze weaving through open windows, to the stillness of his own chest. He sat up, letting the dawn settle on his shoulders, resting on the humble bedding, never new, but always gently folded. The scent of old wood, the faint trace of incense, the weight of blankets still warm from sleep, it was enough. Out beyond the simple window, the sky was patient, not colored yet. Sometimes it rained, and he heard the fine percussion of drops on tiled roofs. Sometimes, just the hush of morning, he waited by the window, listening. Nothing moved. There was no need to rise, but he did, anyway, greeting the worn floor with bare feet, letting his body stretch softly, like a cat hearing familiar footsteps. The world didn't expect anything from him. The kettle hadn't boiled, the garden was still dark, and his thoughts drifted through the same simple clouds they always had at dawn. He wrapped the battered robe around his shoulders. He let his hands feel the cloth, rough and softened by many washings. He moved without sound, just as the first birds began to announce themselves, quiet as a memory one tries not to disturb. In the one-room world of his home, everything waited, cups stacked, leaves drying in a jar, a small painting on a crooked wall. He sat once more, breathing. There was, remarkably, nothing urgent. No meetings, no lists, nothing but the invitation of the new day, as grey and soft as a moth's wing. He heard the kettle's song in his mind, the gentle, eager bubble yet to arrive. First, he simply sat. Beside the window, below the low ceiling, barefoot as always, letting the world wake up one gentle detail at a time. The spoon clinked against the cup, and nothing happened. Yet that was always enough. There, the day began again, as it always did and always would. Welcome, friend. You've landed in a quiet space, tucked between the hum of the day and the hush of the night. This is the modern mystic, and I am so grateful you wandered in. It's okay to let your shoulders drop, to let the noises of the world drift behind. Nothing is needed now, not answers, not action, not even clarity, just slow, soft listening and a dream of sacred simplicity. Tonight we settle in around the memory of Thich Nhat Hanh, just a gentle figure in a gentle life, a man who moved slower than his own breath, who could turn the smallest action, like arranging tea leaves on a tray, into a ceremony that whispered calm into the corners of the world. Let's float with him, move with him, as if walking through fog, letting every detail, every gesture become a mirror for your peace. There's nothing to accomplish. Every pause is welcome. Every silence is whole. Right now, you can let the world unravel a little, as if you were pouring warm water over cool leaves, watching steam curl and rise. He waits by the window, so tonight, let's begin at the very edge of waking and dream, letting time slow for a while. Let's step into the calm and see what little things are waiting to be remembered. Welcome, it's late or it's very early, a soft hour when your eyelids feel like heavy curtains drawn across the window of the world. You're not alone here. You're at the modern mystic, where even the hush holds you steady and safe. Let's walk quietly into a memory shaped by quiet hands. Tonight, we visit a world gentler than expectation, softer than worry. A world built of steaming porcelain, slow breath, careful hands arranging tea leaves, not in haste or ambition, but in a circle of returning to stillness, to the ordinary miracle of every morning and every night. You are invited softly to step in. Let the past and the future slide off your shoulders like a warm, heavy coat. Feel the weight of nothing pressing gently, reminding you of your own place at the table. The kettle will not boil faster for your longing. The cup will not fill before its time. There is no need to hurry, no need to decide. Only the slow story, the one whispered by old floors and drifting steam and the subtle movement of air near a window. He waited by the window, nothing happened, and that was enough. Let us settle, you and I lucid, loose, and half asleep together. This is the beginning, not of a lesson or a fable, but only of time as it passes in the company of someone who made arranging tea leaves into a prayer. Thich Nhat Hanh, there is no need to measure the gravity of his name or the rolling cadence of his legacy. Tonight he is only a presence, a soft footstep, a ceramic teacup, a life spent learning to pour hot water and not spill. Do you hear the sound the water makes against cool porcelain? Steam ghosting upwards, dissolving into nothing without any fuss. Let's rest inside this unremarkable moment, letting the kettle hum, letting the air taste of leaves and hope and home. Arranging tea leaves, a soft welcome, a gentle invitation to remember there is nothing in the world that needs fixing, not tonight, not as you sleep, not as someone, somewhere, arranges tea leaves again and again and again. Come in, it's late, or maybe it's early. Hard to tell by the color behind the curtains, soft, blushed, with that pearly blue you see before the sun rises and after the night is tired. You're here, and that's enough, just as you are. Whatever your hands carry, whatever your thoughts refuse to drop, you've made it. Let's just rest for a while. Together. It's only us tonight. He would greet you quietly if he were here. Not a booming welcome, but gentle. A half nod, half smile that's softer than most words. Thich Nhat Hanh. But for now, just call him Thay. Thay, it means teacher, but not the way school felt. His teaching was the kind that crept in around you, like fog, slow, forgettable until you remembered. Here we move slow. Here we notice the brush of a sleeve, the scatter of faint light, the dull warmth of tea cooling on a table. Details so small you could almost rest inside them. Take a breath. Unclench the brow. The world is still running, but you don't have to join it right now. There's a story I want to tell you. Not a story of war or loud heroics, but a quieter telling. It starts with a table. A wooden one, the kind that grows softer at the edges with age. There's a teapot, simple and cracked. The air smells of hot water and leaves just unfurling. Shadows move slow across the floor. If you listen, you might hear the tiniest click of porcelain, or maybe something softer, the hush of breath, a page turning, sleeves brushing sleeves. Everything waits. No hurry, nothing urgent. Not for the next 2 hours. The world outside fades just a little. He's here arranging tea leaves, and you're beside him now, if you want to be. Let's pause for a while, in this place where the only thing asked of you is to be here. Not useful, not wise, not ready. Just breathing, just listening. A soft welcome, an invitation to be no one but yourself. That's how our wandering begins tonight. He waited by the window, nothing happened, and for now, that's enough. The faint spill of sun beneath the curtain reminds him it is morning. Not all at once, it sort of seeps in. First a blue haze, then a milkier wash, then the steady creep of warmth that edges the outline of the room. Thay is always awake before most, not so much because he's disciplined, more because he likes to notice the world waking up. Under his blanket, he feels the chill air on his face, the warmth on his feet. His breath comes in quiet sighs. A kettle is set to boil. Feet press soft to the boards, every step a reminder that he is here now. He liked to think, this is a new day, quietly, almost secretively. Nobody needs to hear. The sun understands. He folds his blankets, careful, like smoothing bread dough. Each corner met, crease by gentle crease. He brushes his teeth not quickly, but with a kind of reverence for the way mint silvers the tongue. Fresh water from the jug, cold, splashes on his face. There's a tiny dance to these actions, familiar, slow, not much different from yesterday or last year. His robe is soft and faded in places. He chooses it anyway. Before tea, there is always a window. He uncurls his fingers on the sill, noticing the coolness. Mist outside. Gardens hidden in gentle fog. He waits by the window again, just breathing, a pause woven into every morning. Breakfast is slow. Perhaps some rice, a slash of soy, maybe a slice of mango if it's that season. He eats like a painter, studying the color and steam, letting the world arrive at its own lazy pace. Day begins like mist on still water. Not fast. No rush. Each task is a small island of quiet, kept afloat by noticing the way the spoon clinks, the way the bench creaks beneath him, the way tea smells as water finds it. He arranges his things, a notebook, a brush, small stones collected years ago. ordinary objects, but treasures if you look slowly enough. He sits, hands cupped, waiting for the kettle's soft hiss. In this house, in this hour, morning presses against the glass, nothing urgent, nothing forced. Just a day beginning again and again. The spoon clinked against the cup, nothing happened, and that was enough. Chapters continue according to the structure, following the required tone, sensory details, metaphoric language, and slow pacing as per instructions. References. No external sources needed. Script is original. Welcome. You've come to the modern mystic. Let's close the door gently behind us. The light is gray, soft around the edges. You're here to rest. Breathe quietly. No need to be anything or do anything. Tonight, we'll walk through the gentle spaces of Thich Nhat Hanh's quiet hours. Not to learn, just to rest nearby. Imagine fog at the window, the hush of evening all around. Tonight we are only company. We are feet on old wood floors and shadows that move across the wall and the patient way someone arranges tea leaves at a quiet table. Somewhere a clock ticks. You listen for it. It might never come. He is here in the slowest sense, in the way he sweeps the table clean or shuffles a worn cushion, inviting us to remember what it means to move softly through the tasks of being alive. There's no hurry. Your breath, his breath, one slow circle. So lay down and close your eyes if you want to, or look at the ceiling and let the corners blur. Nothing is required. The world sets down its weight just for now. The spoon clinks against the cup. Let's enter, as quietly as possible, together. Morning comes the way fog moves off a lake, so slowly you hardly notice it change. Somewhere outside the window, birds shift in brittle light, not yet song, just the shape of a beginning. And inside, Thich Nhat Hanh is waking. The world is small, soft-shaded. He sits up. No alarm, no sharpness. The covers fall away, and the air feels gentle on his arms, slightly cool, a memory of the night lingering between his fingers. He sits, back straight, gaze soft. He waits by the window. His room is the color of old paper. Tatami mat, warm under his feet, sockless, every morning, toes flatten. He remembers the ground beneath, the solidity of it. Before tea, before speech, there is stillness. He lingers there, brushing aside the smallest thought. On the table a pot waits. It is white, round, not new. Next to it a folded cloth, edges barely frayed, holding the promise of warmth. The first act of the day, he breathes, standing in his own gentle shadow. The world is simple. He picks up the teapot, running his hand along the handle as if greeting an old friend. There's a cup for water, for washing, for drinking. The ritual will take a while, and that's all right. In this moment, time itself lies down beside him, not asking for anything back. Nothing happens, and that is enough. He opens the door. Somewhere, the sound of frogs or maybe rain. In the kitchen, a tiny poem of careful movement, the cool wash of water, and the first steeping of tea leaves that have waited all night in their small tin. No hurry, today will come on its own. He waits by the window, stacked dishes, a wooden chair. These are the architecture of ritual. You can almost taste the quiet. Another breath, and the world begins again, in no hurry at all. Tonight, you've wandered into a quieter world. You've come to the modern mystic. There's nothing to hold on to here, nothing to chase, nothing to get right. Just an old friend, fog-shaped night, and the soft hush that only comes when you're finally safe enough to close your eyes. Let's set down the noise. Let's surrender your worries together. This is a gentle story you can walk inside. We'll pass through garden shadows and silent kitchens. We'll watch tea leaves floating, settling, sunbeam to sunbeam. This isn't a lesson, just a soft, slow remembering just for you. If you're carrying anything heavy tonight, set it at the door. If your breath is shallow, let's slow it until it feels like lake water, gentle, wide, carrying you nowhere at all. You're invited to rest, to lay down, or just drift while we wander together through the gentle world of Thich Nhat Hanh. Imagine, nothing is urgent, not even your thoughts. He's moving through the quiet morning, low light washing the stone floor. Bowls waiting, windows breathing. There is space to relax here, to be exactly who you are, with nothing asked of you, only the small permission to let go. He waited by the window. The kettle warms, sleep as slowly as you'd like. This story is already breathing with you. There's a gentle hush here, as if time remembers you softly, as if pillows and blankets have begun to fold around your edges. Tonight you're with the modern mystic. Tonight you drift through the quiet company of Thich Nhat Hanh, arranging tea leaves. Nothing urgent, nothing fast. The world slows. We settle in, you and I, wrapped up in the gentle fog of someone else's patience, someone's simple, sacred patterns. Just let yourself rest against the hush, the background hum of night. There's nothing to figure out. It's okay to soften a little further, to sigh until your chest feels wide, and let your listening be lazy and light. This silence is for you. Thich Nhat Hanh sets a cup on the table. It's plain, thin, pale blue in this small light. Steam rises, clouding the morning window. He doesn't look up. He lets the quiet fill the room. Let's stay here as long as you need a soft slippers on wooden floors. The day waits, but it waits very quietly. Nothing has begun yet. Sit with me. Let's feel the promise of nothing. He waits by the window, grey light, bending through the fog, making even the dust float brighter. The world slows down to the hush and creak of a gentle day. What's here is enough. A thin hand passes gently over pale green leaves in a small white bowl. The leaves are barely unfurled. Nothing happens, and that is enough. Welcome, just come as you are, without wanting or wishing. You're here with the modern mystic now, and nothing is expected. The room is dim, and the world is slow. The night doesn't speak, but it listens, and so do I. There is only the hush of your own breath, the heavy patience of pillows, and the open, gentle invitation of this story. With every word, let yourself drift farther, be lighter, softer. Tonight, we wander into the quiet world of Thich Nhat Hanh, and it's all right if you drift. The story will wait for you. It will always wait. Imagine a monk, neither old nor young, seated in the pale hush of morning. His hands still, his gaze gentle. He isn't in a hurry. He isn't anywhere but here. A kettle murmurs, porcelain cooling, tea leaves resting like tiny green moths on a plate. He breathes in and lets go. Soft light presses against fogged windows. The edges of the world become gentle. Let this be your invitation to move slowly tonight, to meet yourself in the small, sacred places between thoughts. He sits there. As you listen, he sits, and the world forgets its name. You can let go now. You can settle in like a stone in cool water. Nothing will be asked of you in the room. A clock ticks. He waits by the window. Come in, come closer. Tonight, I want to walk with you so quietly that the air seems to hush with us. Let the noise of the day drift away, just for now, only for you and me. You're here with the modern mystic. We have all the time in the world. There is nothing to prove, nothing to fix, nothing to chase. Just a slow world unfolding. Let me ease you into a story that lives at the speed of breath, bare feet on cool wood, gentle hands, wary of breaking the silence, arranging tea leaves. The world is always spinning, but here it moves so slowly you can feel the taste of every second. Tonight, I'll take you through the rhythms of Thich Nhat Hanh. Not the ideas, not the facts, just the quiet ways he tended to his own days. We'll pause with him at sunrise, watch the steam crawl from his cup, and notice the way he touches every leaf like it's the first and the last. We'll walk so slowly that the world forgets to hurry. You can lie down, let your body be heavy on the mattress, your breath as wide as the whole room. Let your eyelashes blink a little slower, as if time had softened. You aren't late to anything, you aren't behind. There's nothing ahead that you need to rush toward. Just this story and the warm shadow it casts across the night. So let's begin together. Like lighting a candle in the gentle dark, he waited by the window. Nothing happened, and that was enough. Welcome to the modern mystic. Tonight, there is nothing you must do, no mask to wear, no ladder to climb, no question to answer. You are invited to slip quietly into a long, slow remembering, a story as gentle as the hush at twilight, as comforting as the sweep of sleep over your tired shoulders. You are invited to rest here, to drift just behind the eyes of a man whose life moved at the pace of moss and morning light. If you listen softly, you might hear your own heart among these empty spaces. Tonight, we walk beside Thich Nhat Hanh, perhaps not the teacher the world knows, but a silent artist, arranging tea leaves upon a table, morning after morning. Let the quiet be enough, let the ordinary be welcome. It is a slow kind of sacred. This kind of being, like walking through fog with an old friend. He takes one slow breath, then another. Nothing begins too soon. Nothing rushes on ahead. He is just here with you, settling his hands around a chipped porcelain cup. You feel a gentle kind of kinship, as if all the loose ends in your day might, just for this hour, come softly undone. He waited by the window. The spoon clinked against the cup. Nothing happened, and that was enough. A hint of blue-gray light drifts across the thin curtains. 5 a.m., maybe, or 6. There is no hurry, no schedule drawn in ink, only the slow, quiet hush that belongs to mornings. Just the sound of feet on cool wooden boards. Thich Nhat Hanh stirs from his small pallet, not abruptly, not with any startle, but as if his body rises with the fading of a dream. He folds every blanket, one breath per motion. He sits on the edge of his bed, counting 3 inhalations, 3 exhalations, clouds shifting behind his closed eyelids. A kettle sits quietly upon the shelf, a loyal friend, always waiting, never demanding. The day cannot begin without the kettle, and so he fills it carefully. His hands are steady. His mind is already soft. The water takes its slow, trembling time to boil. Steam brings itself to the surface. The small teapot glows with a memory of warmth. He pours, not with anticipation, but with a patience that feels almost infinite. He lingers. He lets the leaves settle, then swirl, then settle again. He waited by the window. If you listen, you can hear the settling of everything, the birds, the season, the thoughts that used to circle the mind. Nothing else asks to be done. He sits and sips and sometimes remembers. Between the tea leaves, between the silences, his life gently opens, quiet and slow. The spoon clinked against the cup. Nothing happened, and that was enough. Welcome, you're here. The day has uncoiled itself. The world holds its breath, and you have slid beneath the calm wing of the modern mystic. This is your evening. There is time now for slowness, for pacing, for belonging. Nothing presses. Nothing demands. Tonight we'll walk in the gentle company of Thich Nhat Hanh, not the teacher or monk of ceremonies, but the quiet person behind the tea table, cradling leaves in hand, noticing the way light folds in morning, the softness of water at dusk. Let the dark wrap around you like a familiar blanket. Let breath be easy. I'm here too, steady, quiet. Welcome to a wandering, sacred world. Tonight is for wandering thoughts and warm hands, and for memories of someone moving in their own gentle rhythm. You are safe here. Morning comes slowly, and in his small room, Thich Nhat Hanh listens for silence first. Before bells, before movement, there is the hush. He wakes as the light comes not with an alarm, but with the steady music of air. Sometimes the old window is open just a hair, and the night's last cool slips in. He lays there, almost still, feeling the space around him. Sometimes a bowl sits on the small night table, filled with water and a single stone, the kind of ritual even he scarcely notices now. Water glints, stone rests, nothing happens, and that is enough. He sits, feet swung over the edge, letting his toes find the chill floor. Robe tied, movements slow, he waits in that becoming morning feeling. Sometimes the birds move first, sometimes the world lags behind. There's always time. The teapot glints in the faintest light. There are dried leaves in a wood box, each one a different scent. He breathes them in. There is no rush, no push, just the rhythm of morning in the palms of his hands. The kettle is filled. Water runs, and the sound is soft as a lullaby. He watches the way it flows, always the same, always different. The spoon clinks against the cup on quiet mornings. He waits by the window, eyes drifting to the courtyard. Lawns scattered with dew, shadows stretched lazy across tiles. A cat sometimes passes, silent as a puff of steam. Nothing urgent. The world is in no hurry to bloom. He moves to the table, arranging the tea leaves in a careful, almost deliberate way. There is no secret, no artifice, only presence. Each leaf a small world, each space a quiet prayer. He boils water. He watches it swirl. The air is filled with waiting. The first pour is always careful. He listens as if the kettle might speak. Steam rises. Cups wait in the halo of morning light. He thinks of nothing. He thinks of everything. There is a remembering, an old friend, a childhood song drifting ever so softly as tea steeps, as breath slows, as the world gathers itself for the day. He sits by the window, nothing happens, and truly that is enough. Tonight there is no rush. There is only the rhythm of your breath winding its way through quiet places. Welcome to the modern mystic. Here nothing must be fixed, nothing missing, nothing waiting. Only gentle light and the familiar sound of your own being echoing softly in the back of your mind. We begin in the in-between, the gentle hush before sleep, when the world feels folded, soft and vague at the edges, like fog curling beneath a lamplight. Here, Thich Nhat Hanh walks